Hey everybody! We just finished
for the first
recording.
half of this episode. We
so
for the first. Can we say? Let's do it all together.
Ready? For the first half of this episode, we accidentally didn't have our microphones turned on. So it will be.
So it'll sound like garbage.
Yeah, not together. So it will sound
like garbage
for a little bit, and then it won't.
This is bad. I'm crying.
Here's the show.
We're great. Welcome to Tales from the Long Box, where Michael and Marshall talk about comic books and everything we love about comic books and the things about comic books that we love. I'm Michael.
I'm Marshall. I'm from the comic books. I'm Michael. Michael, you're Marshall. No. Hey. Today we're talking about something that Michael doesn't like, and that's Peacemaker. Unless you're talking about the comic book, which Michael, I think, kind of likes. Markle? Marshall Markle? Peacemaker is an interesting character. He's got a new show coming out, season 2 of his new show. I know the first season was okay. I'm just very interested to see what the second season does. Michael, in one word, describe season 1.
Icky.
Okay. It's icky? I said one word. So now we're going to talk about the comic book. Everyone, we're going to talk about the Peacemaker, Christopher Smith, from the DC Comics, from the Charlton Comics, from all kinds of things. The show is fine. Maybe you love the show. Maybe you're Michael. Those are two separate things. And that's all great. But we're going to talk about the comic book that inspired the character. If you want to learn more about that, welcome, and we're here to talk about it.
Let's talk about Charlton Comics.
Tell me about Charlton Comics. What's the deal with Charlton Comics?
Charlton Comics was not super successful, from my understanding of it, comic book producer or comic book like production team.
Yep.
Company thing.
Like Marvel. Go forward. Peoples. One more.
Nation.
One more.
Country.
One more.
Gaggle.
Okay.
They're not like Marvel and DC.
No.
And then Marvel and DC are still around and have been for forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, but they are like Marvel and DC in that they got absorbed into DC. So they had a few different characters that people would know, like the Blue Beetle and now Peacemaker. People wouldn't have known him a few years ago, but now he's very popular. A few others. I think the Atom, maybe. Atom.
When they're fighting 5.
Yep.
Captain Atom. What?
Yep. Yeah. Those characters basically Charlton Comics have failed, went away, and DC bought them. And then during Crisis on Infinite Earths, some of those characters, if not all of them in that event, got brought into the main DC universe, whichever Earth that was by the end of that. I can't remember.
Which is all Crisis on Infinite Earths, which we're going to talk about at some point on our multiverse episode.
Oh, yeah.
As we talk about the history of the multiverse throughout comics, it gets just stupid.
Yeah, especially for DC.
Yeah, but this was a good use of it in that it brings in these new IPs that DC had bought into their kind of mainline continuity. And that's where you get Peacemaker entering the DC Comics timeline. But before he did that, he was just in Charlton Comics, where he was like he's introduced as like this American diplomat guy who goes to I don't know, works for the government. He's a pacifist.
And he staunch pacifist. Yes. Hates violence. Would never commit violence.
Couldn't, except
You were against violence.
except for his little weaponry.
Yeah. Except for the giant roof full of weapons that he built.
That he built all himself to commit that.
I created all of these deadly weapons. I will never use them.
It's just a hobby.
Yeah.
I just felt like it. It just seemed like a fun thing to do.
But it's better to have a deadly weapon than not need it, than to need a deadly weapon and not have it.
And that apparently is his philosophy until he needs it.
Yep. Which is immediately, by the way.
Yes, truly, he does not waste you with a single issue by being an actual pacifist. Because the second somebody says something to him, pretty sure he gets slapped in the face with a glove, like in the old timey, like British. I don't know.
basically somebody is going to do terrorism or wrong him or a country or something. He's like, well, I guess my pacifism is really too difficult, and I would use my weapons and jetpack from my weapon room.
Well,
And yeah,
it's all very. Is it Buck Rogers? That's like the weird old pulpy.
yeah, but that's much earlier. This is like on 60s.
I know, but it feels that way, doesn't it? It's like he has his guns and he has his jetpack, and he's just a good old American hero like Buck Rogers.
Yeah, which is weird. Like he debuted in the Fight and Fight in over 40 in 1966. It was created by Joe Gill and Pat Boyette. And in the Charlton Comics is Christopher Smith. Chris Smith is his name. He's a pacifist who hates violence, but he does eventually use force when he sees a larger danger. And it's just a weird kind of character. Like it's a strange. Like in later versions, they officially make him a psychopath, but there is kind of the hint of like, is this guy just kind of nuts? Because he says like, I'm all about peace, but also, darn it, I'll kill.
Think about
like,
I think
what is the...
they only perfect that line in the Suicide Squad movie where he says something. He says like, I love peace so much. I don't care how many men, women, and children I have. Yeah. And that's kind of that's his attitude throughout the actual comic.
It said something fairly similar to that in the first issue of the 80s run as well, which is kind of fun. Yeah. But it's just weird because like in the Charlton books, these are much more like altruistic, pulpy kind of like DC type 60s characters. But this guy does seem, just by what you think about the actual character, it just is weird and doesn't make sense. Yeah. Which is why you can then go to the version that is in the DC universe that gets brought in the 80s, and they make it make more sense.
Yeah, so Charlton goes under. DC does their crisis event when they're meant to be, consolidating their characters onto one timeline, with their new IPs. Yeah, and Peacemaker's one of those. Yep. And so after that's all done, a couple of years later, DC is like, okay, let's give this guy an actual origin under our umbrella.
Yeah.
And so
slightly different.
They keep a lot of stuff. They keep like the diplomat status and stuff like that, I think.
When I said slightly different, I mostly meant insanely different.
Well, don't they keep his like government status though?
Kind of, but no. What my understanding of the DC origin is, which is I think they changed it again in that, where like the modern book, they had kind of gone back to this thing where he was a diplomat and stuff like that. Yeah. But in the 80s one, he is a guy who he grew up in Germany with his mother and father, and then finds out, oh, my dad was a commander at a concentration camp. Whoa. Yeah. And he kills himself in front of him on his 5th birthday. Yeah. Pretty good. It's crazy. Peak fatherhood moments. So, that does a number on little Christopher. And he kind of is like, I'm going to try not to be that guy. And then eventually very quickly becomes a crazy guy who kills for peace and is just kind of a psychopath who will shoot anybody who's in his way with any myriad of guns and weapons. The comics are like, I know it's the 80s, but the comics are impressively violent.
Yes,
very much like Alan Bryson
comics.
Which is interesting you say that, because did you know then that these Charlton characters were the inspiration for Watchmen?
Yeah. Yeah, which like it's funny that it all kind of comes full circle because of that. It's like they didn't have to bring Peacemaker back to all of that violence that Alan Moore kind of perfected when he was doing the ones.
Basically the comedian.
Yeah. Yes, he is basically, or Rorschach. Like feels very, very similar to both.
Rorschach is supposed to be the Question. So that was another one of there's a lot of these Charlton characters. Yeah. So the Blue Beetle was Night Owl. Adam was Dr. Manhattan. Question was Rorschach. And then
I didn't realize the Question came to Charlton too.
Yeah. Peacemaker was then the comedian. And all of those they're not direct adaptations. They're all like twisted or depressed versions of those characters.
Yeah.
So you take a guy who's this like noir pulp detective with a weird mask, and you make him completely insane, and then you get Rorschach.
Yeah.
You take a guy like the Blue Beetle, who is a tech genius, Ted Cord, and you make him overweight and depressed, and you get Night Owl.
Yeah.
So on and so forth. It's just interesting that the canon version of Peacemaker did go on to basically become the same character as the comedian in a lot of ways, except that the comedian only really cares about the chaos. He's like having fun with it.
Yeah, the motivation is different, but a lot of the aesthetic actions is the same. Yeah, absolutely, especially in the modern ones, because they're so since I guess backing up a little bit, they did the Charlton run in the 60s.
They came out in 66, and then I don't remember exactly when the
E8 I think was the first DC run, if that's what you're and then Peacemaker was here and there in some of the crossover stuff, but he didn't get another solo run until they were in the middle of doing
the new Suicide Squad, basically. Because he would pop up in the Suicide Squad. Which is why they then put him in the movie, because that was kind of like the primarily, unless he was a villain in some point, he would primarily show up as a mainstay in various versions of the Suicide Squad team.
And in prep for the movie, they put him in charge of the Suicide Squad in the comics. Which is kind of fun. But he didn't get
that Disturbing the Peace book.
That's not it. That came even after that. So they brought it back into a solo arc in Disturbing Peace.
Gotcha.
Which was, I think, a really solid arc that played even more into like the trauma. It kind of redid his origin yet again from Outer Day. I was really impressed. I had read these comics before. So it's certainly not before seeing the Suicide Squad and the Peacemaker season 1 on the show.
The good news is those have sound.
Oh, who was off?
Both of us.
Oh, were we both?
We will have camera audio for the first part of this.
That is so funny.
That I can try to enhance a little bit. Shouldn't be that big of a deal.
Let's hope.
Now we sound good, guys. Sorry about that. I just noticed that. Thanks, guys.
Love that.
Keep talking about Peacemaker.
I'll keep talking about. Oh my gosh! Stop. Talk about crazy people.
Peace.
Oh my goodness. So something that they did well in the comics. So I hadn't read these comics before the show came out. I thought that it was once I read the comics that were released after the show and after the Suicide Squad movie, thought it was gonna be much more inspired by what was on screen.
Yeah,
you see that a ton. Like Marvel will change anything in their comics to make it look and feel more like what more casual fans have seen on screen to get people to read comics.
Most recently, Miss Marvel has fully just come out and been like, yep, I'm a mutant, and also I have crystal powers and not stretchy powers anymore.
Does she really in the comics?
Yep.
I haven't read her comics. But
Kamala Khan fans are so mad.
I don't really blame them because that's super lame.
It's absolutely so lame.
Yeah.
What's wrong with her being an Inhuman? Keep going.
I thought they were going to do something like that with Peacemaker. When I read the 60s run, read the 80s run, and when I got to the 2020s run, I went, okay, I'm kind of preparing myself for this to just be. But it turned out it wasn't that. It wasn't really that at all.
Yeah,
and I was very
pretty
impressed.
much ripped the design from the show.
Yeah, just the
but
look.
Other than that, it's kind of just the comic book.
It's pretty faithful to what it used to be, and I love that. Yeah. I think that Marvel could take notes personally.
Yeah,
both the studio and the publisher.
Yeah. Well, and we'll see with these things coming up if they go full synergy or not. But I don't know.
Yeah,
anything can happen.
Yeah.
Movies are depressing.
Yeah, 100%.
Everything's great, Michael.
The new series also is Garth Ennis. Is that the guy's name? What's the author's name?
Yeah, Garth Ennis wrote one of the more recent ones.
Yes. Yeah.
He's a somewhat controversial figure, but he's a good writer.
He writes really well.
Very good. His Moon Knight run is also very good.
Yep. Famously.
I've heard good things. But yeah, new season of the show's coming soon. I think that Peacemaker, I can look at what notes I have here before we I don't know that we have that much more to say about who is the Peacemaker. I don't really have anything super extra to say. Yeah. I think it's a fun character. I think especially like taking that original version and turning it into something that is a bit more twisted, and it feels a little bit like a Spawn shock value kind of thing when you're first reading it, of like, yeah, my dad's a Nazi and all this different stuff. But it eventually comes back around to a place of making sense for the character and having actual depth and everything, which I know is kind of your frustration with the show, is that it maybe leans too hard on just kind of like gross out stuff and like really intense, edgy, whatever.
Yeah,
and I can see that for sure.
Shock value is the way to say it for sure.
Sure.
They got the boys-itis.
So everyone, this has been our talk about Peacemaker. It's a new show that's coming out. You can check it out. John Cena's in it, I guess. Other people are in it. All of James Gunn's friends and stuff. It's fine.
John Cena? Been known to while.
Say again?
I'll send you the meme.
Like, I'm trying not to glaze, but it's like, bro, like, you the GOAT, gang? Like, you be wildin'. Like...
I have been wildin' a time or two. I've been known to wild.
Exactly, bruh.
But yeah, thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for always checking out our stuff. Bald Guy is tweaking, as always. And sometime we'll talk about another thing. Next week is we're ranking all the DCEU movies. Like I said, here's 3 things that I've drawn. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, read my book. I wrote a book. I think it's all right. If you like poetry,
here it
read
is.
It. I think it's better than all right. If I thought it was just all right, I wouldn't have written it.
It's pretty good.
I didn't mean to sound down on myself.
It's got poetry in it. There's one about a pirate ship.
You remembered.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I feel so special right now.
I wasn't totally sure.
No, you got it.
Okay, I thought so.
He kind of remembered.
I kind of remembered. I've read some of it.
Oh my gosh.
Thanks everyone for being here.
Thanks for being here. We love you. Keep reading comics.
Good luck. Do that again. It was bad. I forgot what I say.
How did you forget what you said?
I don't know. Thanks everyone for being here. This has been our comic book show. We talk about comic books, and thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here. We love you. Keep reading comics.
Good luck.